Hello and welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason. Oh, something's not working. Oh no! Can they hear you and not me? They can hear me. Right. Because I could hear me. Okay. You see us? You see me? Oh, hello. Hello. Hello again. I'm here. We're here. Hello to the chat. I don't see anyone in there yet. Where's Smitty? Smitty's late. Smitty can't be late. Can have a show without him. Um, all right, I see my own face now. We're looking good. So, cheers, Happy New Year's, and a drink. I say a toast, but I'm not drinking toast. So, I'm here. Jin's here. I hear. I see. You're mad, but I don't see anyone. There you are. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Again, yeah. Happy New Year's, everyone. Uh, hope you guys' holidays went well. I hope they went better than Nacha's and mine because we were both sick, sick as dogs, sick dogs, not the healthy ones. Um, that said, congratulations to Christy Santiago, who's not here with us tonight. She might show up, but she's pretty whipped. She's busy being a grandma right now. She had her first grandbaby. So we're super proud and happy for Christy. Um, so I'm not sure if she's passed out on a couch somewhere from being overexcited for the last couple of days, but hopefully we see you soon. That said, we're going to get right into the show. Before I address the thing down here, uh, Jimmy Carter's passing, I wanted to make note that we are aware, because we don't live under rocks, of the fires in LA. I wasn't quite ready to cover it in any extent because I'm not really sure what to say about them. It sucks, absolutely. And logical spark, not Bella, not Bella. Um, so for the fires, it's terrible. Um, It truly sucks. We should see more of this coming because we're going to have more extreme weather events on both ends of the spectrum. I mean, one like coast of the U.S. is frozen, the other one's on fire. Um, is it climate change? It has something to do with it. So, there's that. Um, really, we really should expect more things like this in the coming years. Our hearts go out to all the families and peoples who lost their homes and any loved ones. Um, we have no idea what the environmental impact is going to be around the LA area. Um, I can't remember the amount of damage. I want to say it was something like 11 billion. I really could be wrong. I didn't pull anything up. Like I said, we're not quite ready to cover it, but our hearts definitely go out to those who are struggling and need, everyone who rented, who doesn't have a home and home insurance because they rented. Um, they already had a homeless crisis. So we're not quite sure what to expect yet. And I didn't want to add any fuel to the fire by just adding to the noise, because that's what a lot of the commentary has been so far. So please be careful when you're intaking any media on the fires, right? Take note of what is happening, but be really careful to point blame. I don't think that it's Governor Newsom's fault for not raking leaves. Um, they're in a dry season during their wet season, and the Santa Ana winds. Um, maybe I said it wrong. Um, they can blow the ashes for like up to a mile, so like nothing's safe there, and it should be, and it's due to the environment changing. and everything being so dry when it shouldn't be, that these fires are just out of fucking control. Um, again, there's been so much blame pointed towards the Democrats for not raking leaves or just being terrible. And I guess DEI has been to blame because there's a female fire chief in LA. But in LA, 3.5% of the firefighters are women. But many people are online are complaining that it's because there's so many women firefighters is why the firefighters are inept and can't do anything. And I want to make clear again, because we're not trying to point blame, we're actually trying to not point blame, um, that it's not the firefighters' fault. Their budget was cut. That was not a great idea. Um, and because they're in a dry season, a lot of the fire hydrants aren't working. Nothing's coming out. It's a fucking shit show. And I'm sure there is some blame, but it's really too early to tell where those fingers should point right now. So please beware of anyone really trying to point fingers at who's to blame for all this. I mean, you could say mega corporations and big oil companies that knew about climate change like 50 or 70 years before we really started seeing the effects. That's a pretty fair finger to point, a big one. Um, but right now, it doesn't look like anyone started the fires like maliciously. And we just don't know, right? So hold hold blame, uh withhold any belief claims, and send help if you can. Uh share information and any donations that you can make to um any GoFundMe's that you can legitimize. Feel free to do so. Please do so. People need help. Insurance companies have pulled out of covering those areas within the last couple of years. So there's a lot of people who may not get coverage. And with the upcoming president who's basically shitting on this whole situation, with showing what was the picture online of the Hollywood like sign all around that being on fire, but it says Trump was right, and basically a whole bunch of Republicans saying that, oh well, yeah, we could help them and send them money and aid, but then they won't learn nothing because they're shitty Democrats. We need to stick together and help each other out because we can't depend on our government to do it when it's the opposite party, especially red helping blue. So that's all the fire stuff. I'm sorry we're not making it a topic, but again, we don't really know enough to um, cover this responsibly. I think what I just did there is the best we could do right now. Anyways, all right. So looking through our chat real quick. Christy, yes. Smitty, Christy has a grandbaby. And where's little Enos? Uh, and then there's the misinformation online. Firefighters. Well, just hello everyone. We have a nice little group here already. We got Logical Spark, Titan Uranus. Wonder if there's a pun in there somewhere. I'm always worried about saying your name wrong. Jin Zhu. You have to let me know if I said that right. I apologize. Mr. Shadow Kitty and Smitty. Did I say Smitty? I did call Smitty out for being late already. I know I didn't have a face when we started, but that's only partly my fault. So, grab your Parrot Bay rum. They're sponsoring this video. No, they're not. And let's get on to uh, another thing we should drink to. Jimmy Carter lived quite a life. He was, which president was he? I totally should have looked that up for him. Look it up now. He was the which President of the United States of America. Why isn't this easier to find? I thought that'd be the first thing that popped up. It wasn't. Um, okay, he was in office. Okay, he was the 39th president of the United States of America. Uh, Sworn in in 77 and ducked out in 88. Ducked out, he was lame duck president. I've always heard from about half the people I know that he was one of the worst presidents we ever had. And from the other half, it's like he was not a great president. Um, so through and through, uh, um, Jimmy Carter was a pretty decent president, honestly. He made a lot of really great policy decisions. Um, he made the environmental agency, and I think he did something with labor too. I can't remember right off the bat. Um, the Department of Energy and the Department of Education. That's what I was looking for. Which is fucking fantastic. He was a great answer to Reagan. Um, but Reagan came after, so that sucks. And I the whole Iran thing. So the Iran hostage situation that most people here have heard of. As most of us, again, who watch this show, we're all pretty much in the same boat. Ronald Reagan's administration was working behind the scenes to uh, keep to have Iran keep the hostages in order to make Jimmy Carter look bad, and then after he won the election, they let the hostages go. Kind of like what is happening right now, and with Gaza, before Joe Biden leaves. Israel and are coming to a ceasefire agreement and letting hostages return home, alive or not. Carter was sabotage. Yes. If you want a bad president, see Reagan. Absolutely. Um, so the really cool thing about Reagan, not Reagan, nothing cool about Reagan. Reagan ruined everything. So let's not mince words there. Um, really cool thing about Carter is, and I think Nacha said this last time we talked. Um, he was just probably the best person we had as a US president. Maybe not the best president that we've ever had, but definitely the best person, the best like humanist person that ever sat in the Oval Office. Um, he almost completely eradicated um, the guinea worm, which is a parasite, seriously, all in its own right, and burrows itself in humans and like gets in their leg and got it. It's gross. It's gross. But basically, he made it his life's mission to help poor countries get rid of guinea worm because it was such an epidemic of people drinking like unsafe water and then getting guinea worm and then it's like fucking up their legs or other appendages. And um, he nearly completely eradicated. There were thousands of cases, maybe tens of thousands, even a year, when he started trying to eradicate guinea worm. Um, and then by the time he slowed down as a human being, there were tens of cases each year worldwide. It's amazing what one man's drive, who used to have a little power, can do sometimes when you use that power for good. I wish we had more presidents like that. You could, start a foundation for Hurricane Katrina victims and walk out the back door with all the money. But not everyone does that, so it seems. Um, Nacho and I were just talking about his involvement with North Korea. I think back in '94. he went to North Korea before things got violent between our countries. And he just went for a diplomatic run, uh, just a shot at diplomacy in general with uh, Kim Il-sung. And it made the Clinton administration pretty pissed. But they got the negotiators right back on track, which is really, really cool. And I mean, it's not like that we have real peace with North Korea, but we have enough peace to not be bombing it. So that's peace, right? Um, Again, all of this is after he was president. And then not to mention, while he was president, one of the best things that he did was give the Panama Canal back to the, oh shoot, I don't know what to call them, the Panamanians. That's not right. I'm making it up. I forget. But it's not just Panamanians. I know that. Oh, I said something more ridiculous. To the people of Panama, he gave the canal to them because they fucking lived there. If I'm not sure if you guys have ever looked at a map, but the Panama Canal is not attached to the United States of America. Kind of makes sense that it belongs to the people of Panama, at least for now, until the new incoming wonderful, perfect president um, takes it back because China. Not sure if you've looked at a map, but the Panama Canal is attached to China either. Um, Funny things in the world and borders and distances in space. But um, yeah, so Jimmy Carter was a fucking rock star. Um, that's just about all I want to say on Jimmy Carter, except one of the things that, again, Natcha and I were talking about before the show, is one of my favorite stories about Jimmy Carter. He liked to help Habitat for Humanity, and he wanted to go help build houses. If I remember right, he fell and like hit his head, and he had to have stitches. He got a little concussion. And he was in his 90s, I think, at this time of this fun little story. So if you guys haven't heard it, you should look it up. I mean, I got to read the whole story too. It's going to go off memory, like I more or less have so far. Um, but Jimmy Carter bumped his head, had to go to the hospital get stitches, and then still went the next day. Again, I'm pretty sure he was in his 90s at this time to go help build houses. And it's not just like he was paying for like a fucking photo shoot of him building houses. He was literally like using his hammer, fucking building a house. Because he just wanted to fucking help people. And one more character trait or show of character for Jimmy Carter. And it's you guys have probably heard this one a number of times if you've ever listened to Kyle Kalinske talk about Donald Trump. The emoluments clause in the Constitution speaks to where a sitting president cannot have a private business attached to their name because foreign powers or just powers can give you money through your business and potentially just give you some kind of private donation for a favor. We don't want that in our country. We really don't. So when it came, here's the example. When it came to Jimmy Carter, the U.S. government was like, "Oh, hey, you got this peanut farm, and you could take money through that because aesthetics mattered back then." So Jimmy Carter didn't say, it's just a fucking peanut. It's just my peanut farm. What are they going to do? Buy a lot of peanuts from me? Which I mean, they could to make it. You could sell a bunch of peanuts and not give them the peanuts just for a favor, right? Could, for argument's sake, do such thing. Um, Maybe examples of that happened in Saudi Arabia more recently, not for peanuts, but for golf courses. But what Jimmy Carter did was sell his fucking peanut farm. And that would suck. Like, being a farm, like, I don't want to say farmers should be um, exempt from that just because you are a farmer. and you're going to hold public office, you really shouldn't have any business ties that people can donate to. You need to tie up loose ends because now you're a public servant. That's how it goes. I mean, I'm a small business owner. I would hate to get rid of my small business to serve my country. But if I want to serve my country, that's the fucking deal. You got to be a public servant now. That's the job. That's what you signed up for. And Jimmy Carter got that. It's not a hard idea. It's not a hard principle to swallow. But he did it. Jimmy Carter did good things in his life without being dragged, kicking and screaming to do these things. Um, and uh, grab a drink. I'll give you 10 seconds. I won't just chug. I'll give you moments. All right. Jimmy Carter, we'll miss you and your beautiful soul. And hail to the humanist. I remember doing a show on George H.W. Bush, and it was not quite as kind. I remember the most kind things I could say is he was a person who had a family, and we should be a kind and nice uh, for his family's sake. We're also a pretty small channel, so we had to go through his record, and it was pretty shit. Um, Jimmy Carter was a beautiful person, so we will miss his influence dearly, but he didn't have much influence because he was decent. He didn't play the revolving door of politics, where you do the politician thing and then you go work for a defense uh, contractor or go work for Goldman Sachs and then go back to politics and with that influence create legislation or something of the like. He was a senator beforehand. He wasn't just a president. So he had the opportunity to do that, but he didn't. I wish we had more U.S. presidents like him to talk about in general. And I'm really glad that I was alive around the same time he was to be able to talk about it. Not that um, not that I was around when he was president, but that's that. Moving on. I don't quite remember what the next one is right off the bat. Probably Gaza. It's an update on Gaza. It's an update on Gaza. Mhm. All right. So, if you don't know, there are some updates on Gaza. Um, First off, the more important one. I believe it was the Lancet that came out with another report saying that they think that their count on the dead in Gaza is 40% more than they thought. Um, and I don't remember if that was the 186,000 dead, including those buried under the rubble, or if that was the one where the guesstimate was closer to 300,000. So either way, it's high. And if you know us, we at this show do not adhere to the UN count, which is around 43,000 dead. We don't adhere either to the Euromed monitor. We watched that one a lot. Um, It's a fairly decent count, but they really only go by what they could confirm, which is good. That's a good way to do things. But the issue is they lost too many people to keep counting. So we can't trust those numbers anymore. We can only assume that they're going higher because of the starvation rates. And just looking at what the historical precedent is and the just how the numbers were going up when we could more reliably count them. So my guess right now is the death toll is somewhere between I don't want to go too low or too high. Okay. If you're just asking me, because Christy's not here, I will go with my guess is between 4 and 500,000 people. Because, and I know that's high. I know that's really high. Um, what doctors have confirmed months ago was 118,000. That was with the 99 doctors that signed the letter to the president in just the US. And then it's there's been time, right? The Lancet is really good at like historically, they're usually pretty right, like pretty close, and they have a much higher number than that even. And we know that um again, historically speaking, when we go back and like look at like the dead in Yemen or in Iraq, like there's over 1 million, and with the war in Iraq, um, it's way more than we hear about while it's going on, right? That's the whole fog of war thing. So I would not be surprised, and I've been saying that, in February, I wouldn't be surprised if you start hearing that the death toll is closer to 500,000, 500,000 people. And oh, the other point I was going to say before I went off on my own rabbit trail was that 1.9 out of the 2.3 million people of which we started with on October 7th, October 7th ago is at 1.9 is homeless. They don't have anywhere to go, and it's winter. They're all worried about the, the freezing rain. 35 infants died last week on like in 1 week due to the cold, hypothermia. Um, there are no more hospitals that are fully functioning anymore. I think Al Shifa was the last hospital. Um, the IDF was taking doctors hostages, um, saying that they're part of Hamas. And if they are, remember, we got to remember, they're the functioning government there. Still so, even. We'll get to that. But I wanted to take a minute to talk about the death toll, the death rate, and remind everyone that currently it's like a 90% civilian death rate, even with the low numbers that we've counted. It's devastating. Uh, it's sickening. But we already know that. We know it's bad. Don't even mean to tell you that. Um, but expect higher numbers than what we're hearing now, because the historical precedent is that they are going to shoot up right after Trump takes office. Because it seems that with all of his bold threats, that if Hamas doesn't give up all of the Israeli hostages before Trump takes office, there will be all hell to pay, right? It'll be hell on earth for Hamas and Hezbollah, everyone involved, everyone in the Middle East, maybe including Israel. In fact, Israel thinks that they're getting the short end of the stick right now because the Trump administration uh, has been in talks with the Netanyahu administration, and they seemingly have come to a ceasefire agreement. And it is the same ceasefire agreement that the Biden administration tried to push to the public and on Israel back in the summer. And they're going to be returning hostages. And two steps, I believe. Hell to pay. Thanks, Logic. Um, they'll let go of so many hostages. They'll wait for some time, and then they'll release the rest. I didn't look. I didn't pull it up. Because honestly, it's not that important to me. I mean, it's important that the hostages get home, but the bigger thing to me, um, the thing that I really want to get through here is that credit where credit's due. One, if Trump really sets this ceasefire deal in stone, if it happens, that's great. Way to go. Seriously, that um, flies in our face of us saying that he's an anti-war candidate, right? And like I don't believe that still, right? I mean, he still acts like he wants to go to war with Iran and fucking Canada and Greenland to take it over. Denmark, Mexico, mostly Iran. Um, but I think his motivations are more skewed to the idea of I don't want to deal with this. It looks pretty bad. I don't want this stain on my administration. Netanyahu fucking clean it up. There was a whole story going around about um, um, the Netanyahu administration trying to put this meeting off with uh, Trump's team to talk about settling this. And they tried to use Shabbat as an excuse to not have the meeting right now. They're like, we don't give a fuck about your Shabbat. We don't give a fuck about your holiday. You're gonna meet with us pretty much fucking now, like on holiday. And they did because when America says, "Hey, fucking listen, we have a big stick," Israel does listen. So here's the thing: if this does go through, that just puts a knife, like or a fork. I'm sorry, it puts a fork in Biden. Like, yeah, you're pretty done. You could have done this the whole time, as we've been saying. Like, all you got to do is pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, stop funding a genocide. Or we're gonna stop giving you weapons, or we're gonna, I don't know, whatever else you could have said that we do." It just takes a phone call because we're the U.S. Who's the fucking superpower, right? As Bill Clinton has said, yeah, with his time in office. It takes Trump. It takes Trump, not Biden. That fucking Kamala Harris just yanking the fucking reins away to stop it. Note if Trump does get to take credit for this, which he deserves if he does it, sadly. Um, Democrats might never win Michigan again because look who was right. Um, that would suck. Um, it will help with that illusion that he's anti-war, and that is just an illusion. We know that. Um, sorry for my screen. I need to clean that. I think I will. ASMR all of a sudden. I hope that cleans it up because I look very blurry right now. Um, I watch myself do it. Okay. Um, so let's say the ceasefire goes through. and um, Israel will probably take the West Bank. Miriam Adelson already gave Donald Trump, and let's see, that didn't work. Gave him $100 million to annex the West Bank. He's probably going to do that. Hey, let's get real. Um, I notice I'm out of focus. Let me fix it. I'll go back here. Um, Apart from that, ceasefire now was like the whole, it sounded like the whole shebang, right? But we know it wasn't. That wasn't the only thing we needed. We needed a ceasefire now to start the process to a better fucking world for Gazans. What we what we need after that is accountability. Um, and for those of you who think I need to caveat, yeah, for the Hamas perpetrators, not all of Hamas, but the ones who are radical enough to attack and kill 1,000 people during a concert, right? Right. There's your caveat. Um, what was it? At least around 40%, I think I heard, were civilians. That's terrible. That's bad. We all agree. Now, the side that killed 90% and tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of more people, uh, they deserve they deserve cold plated justice too, right? Um, that's not going to happen. That's what I would like to make clear here tonight. If Trump gets a ceasefire deal, cool, cool, bro. Hope it lasts more than a couple of years. Um, Now what? Annex the West Bank? You're just asking for more trouble later. Um, and there should be trouble because that's terrible. That's a terrible thing. Um, and just what flood them with aid? Maybe give them some aid. Just have Israel still be in charge of Palestine's borders, the little borders they have left. What's what's the deal after that? Just stop firing on them. The troops are going to start to pull out of Gaza, at least on the first section of the agreement, um, or first portion of it. It's um, it's utterly ridiculous that even if a Biden had come to this deal, that we can't depend on with any real hope that good things will come out of this for Gazans, because they most likely won't. Um, Maybe they'll stop being bombed. Maybe they'll get some aid. Um, but I assume our audience knows what um, like the hell that it is there to try to build houses with the equipment that they are allowed to use, with the materials that they're allowed to receive. It's a hellscape. It's like trying to keep a car running in Cuba. And they're good at it, but they make the best with the worst. Um, because humans are crafty. We're good at surviving under the worst conditions. And this is just one of the examples of the worst conditions. And it won't change, not under him. And I would love to be proven wrong. Again, I hope there's aid that comes in, and I hope it's just more than enough. But so much aid has already gone to waste because the IDF has stifled it. So do not be disillusioned, my friends. Um, a ceasefire deal is only the first step of what we need, and it is the bare fucking minimum. Ugh, just like what we always got with Biden. So I don't know if you should expect any more from the Trump administration. Um, so there's that. That is the update on Gaza, the death count, and that there's a ceasefire deal on its way, and it looks like it's going to go through. So again, kudos if that happens. But I certainly hope I'm wrong and that the kudos don't stop there. I hope to come back in another week or two and tell you like they're shoveling in aid. Trump siding with the UN and the ICJ arrest warrants. Fucking baller, man. Go Trump. I hope I come back in a week or two and give you that because I was wrong. But we shall see. I hope I eat my words. Let's move on. Remember the loud click. No, I forgot how loud I do that. All right. Unless non-APAC Democrats take Congress and block Trump, it's pretty much done deal for Palestine. Yeah, I mean, it's been a done deal for a while, for the most part. Oh, TikTok. Is it TikTok now? TikTok. Oh, healthcare. Oh, yeah, we can do healthcare. My bad. We'll do that. Give me a moment. I usually blow my nose when Christy's on. You guys get to see that I use puffs today. They're sponsoring this video. No, they're not. So, next up, healthcare, U.S. healthcare. Um, this is the next two are going to be really short because I plan on talking to Christy a lot during these. Um, so, U.S. healthcare. I wanted to just kind of have a back and forth about how we could fix the healthcare system in this country because Luigi Mangione started that conversation with a bang, and it has not stopped since. And to be fair, again, our our hearts do go out to um, the victim's family. Um, but that CEO Brian, right? CEO healthcare shot. Brian. Brian Thompson. There it is. Um, um, he was a piece of shit who was in charge of a piece of shit company. So we do not condone violence here on LEAH because we are, I think between the two of us, we can't necessarily be called pacifists, but we're pretty close. We are diplomats, we'll say. Um, we always want a diplomatic solution rather than a war type one, an aggressive, an offensive solution. But me, with the philosophy background that I enjoy, I have to say, I have to remind everyone that when January 6th happened, before I knew what was going on, and a little bit afterwards, my first gut reaction was to laugh. I had no idea who was attacking the Capitol, but I was like, yeah, no one likes Congress. Of course, someone's attacking the Capitol. What's it for? Because I get it. I get it. Uh, Luigi Mangione did what to a CEO? What CEO? Okay, like when I saw it pop up on my phone at the top as a notification, CEO shot. Um, um, First I processed CEO. I'm like, not surprising. What'd someone do? Said healthcare. I'm like, oh, I can only guess why. And then I put my phone down because shootings here in America are pretty normal. Um, Actually, one of the families I'm connected to was just in the vicinity of a shooting the other day. And she told the story half laughing because that's where that's where we is in life here in the US of A. Um, Smitty says, since this killing didn't actually help anyone, it's revenge killing. I don't believe in the death penalty. Now Luigi has made his family's life worse. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, um, well, I mean, but there's always it's there's always a spectrum, in one sense or another. We are finally talking about healthcare more often now. Like healthcare is a topic about as much as TikTok is, which we'll talk about next. And it's because of um, this little Robin Hood we got. Um, who isn't really Robin Hood. He just I looked at Smitty's words. Um, Vigilante justice is a funny thing. When things happen like this in a society in general, it's gonna cause a fucking conversation, and we need that conversation. We desperately do. Um, and here's the sitch. Is we wouldn't need, because we obviously fucking did, for this to explode. We wouldn't need a CEO to get shot in the broad daylight in Central Park to talk about how fucked our healthcare system is as a larger society, not just people on the left who always talk about this shit. But we wouldn't need it if the powers that be, CEOs of the such, uh, uh, captains of industry, didn't work so fucking hard to make sure we don't talk about it. Keep us distracted, keep us low income, keep us too busy to think about things that are important that would better our lives, right? The system is working as it should. Um, we're too busy to care about the people around us. Um, but it takes something tragic for us to merge together in bigger groups over really common basic necessity fucking shit. It's so disappointing. It's um it's unnerving. It's sad. Um Down below, Smitty says, I understand the desire for vengeance. Everyone's acting like it's an act of liberty from a modern Robin Hood. Um, is pretty cringe, right? Um, I saw your Robin Hood statement. The left has been talking about healthcare since Obama and voting for Democrats who do barely anything for healthcare since Obama, which he just did a little stepping stone. Uh, and then voters choose the powers that be. I mean, we do to a point, right? Because we don't really choose um, those powers. Capitalism really chooses a lot of those powers because people's money donate to campaigns, and those campaigns are mostly run by the DNC and the RNC, and those are also private groups that have a lot of money behind them, who have people who choose people for you to choose from. We don't get a lot of fucking choice in this system. Not really at all. It's an illusion of choice, really. Every now and then we get a little beacon of light, like a Bernie Sanders, um, but it's not often. It's not often at all. Um, to have a truly functioning democracy, like a real democracy, you need a few things, and a couple of those things in that few is real choices and an educated electorate. And we don't we uh we don't really have those. And Smitty says down below, because I am now talking to Smitty because Christy's not here. And I always like reading Smitty's I want to say texts, comments. Campaigns are just advertising. People choose to listen to advertising. People choose to abstain from voting. Corporate Democrats won the primaries. Voters get what they choose. And theoretically says, greetings, Leah and friends. Hello, Theo. Um, Also, hello, the damn network. I just saw you up there. I'm sorry I didn't say hello. Um, Again, I still hold to the idea that we get the illusion of choice because our choices are picked for us. Um, Case in point, Elizabeth Warren and Andrew Yang and a handful of others didn't make it to all of the debates because they just keep changing the threshold of what gets you to the primary debates. It's an illusion. Uh, it's kind of like the news. You're kind of pre-chosen via manufacturing consent, like who's going to be on the news. But yeah, voting leaves you no good option, but abstaining from voting neither. Yeah, it's like there's no real great choice when we're voting for individual peoples. But we need to make sure that we have nice, loud voices for people who do listen to us in Congress and follow people like AOC, even though she's not perfect, right? She's doing great. She's doing better than TYT right now by fighting for things that we care about and need in this country. We need to put our voices and any donations behind the people who really listen to us, not just in their own districts, but they listen to their constituents who they understand are all of us, right? Like I'm in fucking Ohio. We just lost Sherrod Brown. Um, Again, he's not perfect, and I didn't have any direct contact with him, but I like we still have AOC. I have AOC, and I live in Ohio, right? Like that's what we got. We have to uh, coalesce around those who will fight for our views, and they come few and far between. We don't have Katie Porter in Congress anymore. She's still out there trying to help, but yeah, I feel like that's the best usually thing that we can do. Okay, I was going to make this short. So, U.S. healthcare, real quick, in a nutshell, what can we do to fix it? Obviously, fucking socialize our insurance company, make it our insurance companies. Um, we need like a Medicare for all type system, a single payer healthcare system, because healthcare should be a human right, not a privilege. Kind of like water, kind of like food, kind of like a roof over your head, right? You don't need to live at Caesar's palace, but you do need a roof over your head with some decent insulation around the walls, so you can stay warm. And how fucking cold it is outside where I'm at right now, um, and how hot it gets in Florida or California. Um, you need homes that can withstand the environment, because we're humans who were humanist because we believe that humans should have certain rights in order for them to live the most fair, safe lives that they can. And you need healthcare, food, and shelter at the bare fucking minimum. And on top of that, you need education because that's where class wars start. And if you want a functioning government for the people, it needs to be by the people. And it can't be by the people if all the people are fucking idiots, or the majority thereof. Because the smart and the privileged will take advantage, often, over those who are not as smart or privileged. And then you don't have a democracy, you have an oligarchy, because those who have resources and privilege and power uh, usually try to keep those things. So healthcare is where it starts, because it is so easy to make the case for healthcare. Sh should be should be the case to uh, water's where it starts. But we're not there yet. Food, but that is part of my solution. So we need a Medicare for all type system to help us. Um, oh, my lighting, I hate it today. Um, we need to socialize healthcare. We need to socialize the pharmaceutical companies. Um, we need to better our WIC and our food stamps programs. And by that, I mean, I agree a little bit with RFK on this one, but I'll give you my version because it's better. Um, One, we need to subsidize farmers, especially small farmers. And I'm so sorry about my visuals tonight. I'll try to fix my blurriness. Uh, I think the easiest fix we can do for our food is to make sure that when people get a food card and they can go buy food for their family, don't allow the sugariest shit at the grocery store to be bought using taxpayer money, right? Um, Little Debbie's, fucking Oreos, soda, um, sugary cereals, right? Just to name a few, and like the quick and easy. I'd stop fucking there if we could just get that much passed, as these don't count anymore, right? You can't get um, sodas, um, cookies, sweet treats like Little Debbie's, cakes, shit like that, or cereals, right? Um, but you can get fucking lobster, get some shrimp, get Lunchables, little, right? Because people need more real food, right? Fruit specials, all that stuff. I don't think we need to get really hard about how we regulate it, but things that are just sugar and carbs, like just sugar and carbs, that's that will help our health system because we won't just be eating shit all the time. Processed foods is a whole other thing. I don't want to get that deep into it. Um, just the sugary shit. Sugar's a goddamn drug, and it's my favorite. I'm very addicted. Um, but if we can fix that little bit, I think that would help a lot. And I'm not saying we don't allow people to buy that stuff. Not at all. I'm just saying the taxpayer money uh, doesn't pay for that. I know I can't fix my focus, and I'm not quite sure why. I'll kill my video for a moment. See if that helps. I've been moving back and forth to try to make it focus in on me. Um, the Same thing with the drinks. Anyways, yeah, trying to get this focus. Has lost my other focus. I would hope for a moment. I hope it stays a little bit better. All right, so Yeah, I think if we fix our food intake a little bit by just what we subsidize through taxes, that could really help us with preventative care if we had a better diet. And again, people still have the choice to spend the rest of their paycheck on fucking ice cream and Oreos, Little Debbie's and potato chips and too much Mountain Dew. Um, that's fine. I think that you should have the freedom to do that stuff. Like you should be able to drink alcohol. You should be able to blow a whole fucking check on whiskey if you want to. I don't think it's responsible. And I think if you have kids, we have another problem, another conversation to talk about. But just talking about the health aspect of it and what we subsidize as a country, because let me assure you, we are subsidizing uh, these big sugary snack companies by letting them be on EBT programs. It's atrocious. It's ridiculous. It's not real food. It's just empty carbs and sugar. Um, so there's that. Um, I think that was pretty much my whole spiel for the healthcare part. Um, so let's just move on because we're just going past an hour and there's no Christy here to help me get past the 2 hour mark. There's two of us. Gonna take a drink of my sugary drink. That was not subsidized by the US government. All right. TikTok for TikTok. Thank you, Nacha. I was hoping you'd do something like that. All right. Um uh, yeah, well, before we move on, round of applause for a round of applause for Nacha for being here and being awesome all of the time. Our man behind the curtain. Uh, drink to Mr. Nacha. Putting all of our slides together and our border stuff and just being dope all the time. Maybe at the end he'll grace us with his deep, deep, sexy voice. Maybe. Not that he promised that, but that's just peer pressure. All right, TikTok for TikTok. And TikTok, the show's almost over because this is our last topic of the night. So, there's a TikTok ban coming on the 19th, which is this Sunday here in the US. Let me see down here if I did not. All right. So yeah, Biden enacted this back in August, I believe, or the Biden administration, right? I don't think he knows or cares too much about TikTok. And do not be fooled, dear citizens, fellow citizens, dear fellow citizens. The TikTok ban came along because TikTok was not banning or suppressing any free Palestine videos and showing the devastation that the IDF is handing over to the Gazan people. And also letting the IDF um, just post their war crimes and brag about them. All was not great for our war effort that we have going on over in Israel, Palestine right now. So, because of all this, the Democrats, who was in charge, who was worse, decided, ooh, we can't have that. And we always have these issues with social media and being dangerous and giving people bad ideas like healthcare for all and creating Perny Bros and um, seeing Palestine as a real thing and needing freedom from the river to the sea. Uh, um, it's a problem. It's a problem for this war machine efforts to exterminate the people via a small little outpost of the U.S. is called Israel. So TikTok has been a ticking time bomb for about 6 months now, and that time's about fucking up, guys. There's a Supreme Court hearing currently, um, where many people are trying to make the case for TikTok. To Excuse me, TikTok on me too. I am tired. um, uh, but it seems like the cases aren't, or the case isn't going great for TikTok. It looks like the court is favoring going side with the Biden administration with this legislation to shut down TikTok if it is not sold to an American company in time. And it's not yet. I know Elon Musk was considering buying it, but that would be a fucking shit show. And he already has X, so I don't think they should be buying another social media company that's pretty close to a goddamn monopoly, right? Or owning too much of the fucking market. But I mean, we did it with TV companies, so maybe it'd be okay. You never know. I also heard that Mr. Beast said, "Okay, you guys have convinced me. I'll buy it," which would be better. I mean, he's a better billionaire, right? And it's not like TikTok belongs to us, any kind of leftists or atheists or just the people in general. It is a Chinese company, which is the the Congress people. Um, that's their issue. That's their marketing issue of why they should ban TikTok. Is because it's a Chinese company and they collect our data. And wouldn't you rather have us only collect your data? And maybe Elon Musk collect your data and Mark Zuckerberg collect your data? Wouldn't that just be better than those dirty, commie Chinese peoples? Um, it doesn't make a lot of sense because they're not banning everything from China that uh, collects data. Just the platform that has a bunch of pro-Palestine stuff on it. Um, so look, we know where they stand, and I'm glad that a lot of the TikTok creators are standing together saying this is fucking bullshit. I agree with it. It should be its own thing. I mean, it's done great as it is. It helps people with their livelihoods. Like people have businesses through TikTok, through their channels and TikTok Shop. It's turned a lot of lives around because it's a really good marketable platform. Look, I don't like to stand up for companies, um, but this one is probably the best at free speech that I can think of. Better than YouTube, better than a Snapchat, Facebook, especially, and X, especially. But it looks like here's the other piece to the story, which you guys have probably already heard. Um, what is it? Red Note? Red Note. It's an actual Chinese company. A lot of TikTokers have band together to go download another Chinese app, not owned by ByteDance. There is one called Lemonade that is, but it could also be kind of voided by this new legislation if it's not sold. So Red Note is basically just the Chinese equivalent. There's a lot of Mandarin, so brush up on your Mandarin before you go and download this. And please do, if you live in the US, go download it. Maybe don't even use it. Right? If you don't want to, please download Red Note because this is actually kind of great. We have a bunch of peaceful protesters right now through the TikTok community downloading another Chinese company app and departing from Meta and I hope X depart from X. Um, uh, just because on top of it, um, because if we drive these numbers down, we could bankrupt those companies while they're fucking with our right to free speech. It's great. It's wonderful. The commentary of some of these TikTokers and people covering the TikTokers has been wonderful. They're really organized. They're all going to a Chinese um, company, which is hilarious. It's just a slap to the face to the people in Congress who are doing this, and I hope they just keep fucking with them. And there's so many people in Congress who own stock in Meta, so we should just fuck Meta and its stocks. We oughta, and if we can't do it, we ought to do it. Um, so keep an eye out. Please keep an eye out on how many um, people are leaving these companies and how many people are joining Red. And Rendo's taken off. It is the highest trending app right now. And again, it's like exclusively Chinese. But you can look on TikTok still right now, as of the 15th January. If you're over here, not just in the future already, so it's the 16th. And you can see that is the um, most trendy app right now. And on TikTok, you can go on and you can find ways to download and how to navigate through the app. Um, there are other TikTokers and Red Noters who are on there to help you navigate this new app and piss off Congress. So please do so. Theo says Discord is also Chinese and will probably be the next goal of censorship. I didn't know that. I don't know how to comment on that. Because I don't use Discord enough. I'm so sorry. Free social media is just too risky if you need to downplay genocides and legal wars. Yeah. Um, yeah, we need free social media. It is just too important. Like we need that town square online for us to be able to talk. Um, we have a nice little community here. We have a nice big Facebook too. So you guys haven't been on there in a while. There's a little bit of movement. Christy always posts things, and our Snyder guy. We have a few people who post there, kind of commonly, and it's fantastic. So please check out our group on Facebook if you're not already a part of it. Post things. Post that you've downloaded Rendo. Post that you've went to help at a soup kitchen recently. Whatever you can do, it'll be wonderful. Give us some traffic there because we're a community and we're a damn good one too. So help the TikTok community by downloading RedNote because it's dope. It's it's some great organizing and TikTok's going to survive with or without Americans. So um, it's just kind of fucking with Congress is the fun part now. All right. Smitty says, what I need for Mac is for Mac to check out my Digimon pics on the LEAH Discord before America liberates it to smithereens. Smitty, does Smitty have XDMs? Send me a link or something. Remind me how to get there. I do not know. The one reason why I'm not on Discord is because I find it hard to navigate because I don't know. I I struggle with Microsoft Word. That's not true, but it's It's close. I'm basically a grandpa. All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am gonna call it because I am getting so tired. I'm so tired. And it's so hard to talk to just you guys with you not talking back at me. I miss Christy. Christy, we hope you come back soon with pictures of your grandbaby because we want to see her as a granddaughter. I'm pretty sure I saw the name before I came on. I don't want to say the name. That's hers to say, but it was not a her. I was wrong. I was totally wrong. It's a J name. I'll give you guys that, but you're going to wait for Christy to tell you. I'm so sorry knowing that. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And Nacha says goodbye in a nice low tone, really low. You should look under your desk. That was really low. That was good. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
We'll see you later. All right. Stay humanist, for God's sake.